Hi guys, welcome to Theory Thursday. And before we get started, you might want to use some staff paper going forward and everything that we're talking about if you haven't been already. And just as a reminder, if you go to musictheory.net, you can print off free staff paper there as well as do some exercises, which you can go into any topic I talk about and it's on there because music theory is music theory. And so today we're going to talk about scale degrees. We're going to talk about some nomenclature having to do with those scale degrees and start getting some ideas about where we're going to next. Alright, so in order to talk about these things, we're going to use the example of C major, which is all of the white keys on the keyboard. So we have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C. In another video, I had mentioned scale degrees. And what we do with these notes is we assign a number. So 1 is C, 2 is D, 3 is E, 4 is F, 5 is G, 6 is A, 7 is B, 8 would be the next C, or we can just say that's 1 because it's the same note, it's just an octave higher or 8 notes away. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now, we also have names for these scale degrees in addition to the numbers. So the first one we'll talk about, I'll just circle it, is C. We call that, or this C too, we call that the tonic. And you can think of this as a home base. We'll just say home. So if we're playing a song in the key of C, we're using all of these notes, simply using all of these notes to make that song in that key. And we'll get into that a little bit more. But the home base for where the whole song is going to be based in is going to be based in tonic, or C. So notes are always going to want to move to that C to give it a C major feel, or a major feel. Okay, so then we have our second scale degree, which is a D. And we're going to call this a supertonic, because it also has a tonic kind of feel, but it's not C. And we'll get into why that is. But for now, just know that the 2 scale degree, the D, is a supertonic. And this applies to any scale, major, minor, any form of minor, or any other types of scales. And we'll get into that. But for now, just know that the second scale degree is the supertonic. Now we'll get into the third scale degree. We're going to call that the mediant. The mediant. The fourth scale degree is going to be called the subdominant. Subdominant. The fifth scale degree is going to be called the dominant. Dominant. The sixth scale degree is going to be called the submediant. Submediant. And the seventh scale degree is going to be called a leading tone. A leading tone. Alright, so what does that mean? C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C. So what does that mean? I'll give you some examples. We're going to talk further in another video about chords, but this is going to introduce the idea of chords. So the way that I like to think of this is in pull, or where do the notes like to move to? Where do their frequencies want to go? So we said C is your tonic. This is your C. And we build that chord by saying it's a C, it's an E, and it's a G. That's a C major triad. Triad meaning three notes. We'll talk about that more in another video. But for now, just know C major. And it sounds resolved, meaning it sounds like you're home. You haven't gone anywhere, you're just at home. It hasn't really moved, doesn't feel like it wants to. It just sounds, for lack of a better word, flat. Like it's not moving. Now if we give it some motion, and let's say we go to G, which is our dominant, from C. The G sounds like it wants to go somewhere. It sounds like it's going somewhere. Where's it going? It's going home. And it's a very strong pull. Like G really wants to go home in the context of C major. It really wants to go home. I'm at the store. I'm at the checkout line and I wanna go home. It's a very dominant pull. It's very strong. So let's talk about F, subdominant. And for another example, we're going to build this chord F, A, C. And if we build that, just using the notes from C major, F also wants to go home, but not as strong as G. So you can think of it as we're home. We're going to the grocery store. We're at the grocery store. We go home. Right? So let's stay a while at the store. We check out, head back to our car, and on the way home, we notice we need gas. So we go and get gas, then we go home. Or you can think of it the other way. We're at home. We go and get some gas, then we go to the store, then we go home. G has a much stronger pull. It's the dominant than F. It's a little weaker. That's why it's a subdominant. Because it still has a dominant pull, just not as strong. That's how I like to think about it. And let's give a couple other examples here. So if we build, I'm going to leave the okay, so if we're talking about the median or the submedian, the 3 or the 6, the E or the A. So if we build a chord using E, G, because we skip one, and then B. E, G, B. It kind of doesn't have a pull. It does pull, like you could go, but it's kind of a middle of the road, is the way that I like to think about it. In this context, just very simply. And it always wants to go home. This is just a chromatic idea. Or it's got a different middle of the road kind of feel. It kind of pulls strong in a way because the B really wants to go to C. And that will lead into the next example. So mediant, submediant, kind of middle of the road, has a different kind of pull. Like it could go to C, the E could go to C because of the B, but it also could go somewhere else. Kind of has a pull in a couple directions. And then if we talk about B, what I meant by that, the 7th is called the leading tone. The 7th scale degree is called a leading tone. So if we build a chord, skipping a note, B, skip a note, D, skip a note, F, B, D, F, B, B, D, or let's do B, D, and F. Right, we're talking about 3-note chords. It's kind of an tense chord. The B is right next to the C. That's a half step. If you think about the keyboard, B and C are 2 white keys. So the B is going to want to go back to C. It's a very strong pull, just like a dominant chord. So if you think of it as like T, 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 do, T, it's pulling really hard. T, and it pretty much just wants to go home. T, do. We call it a leading tone because it's leading right into the C. Think of it like a magnet. It's pulling you. So those are a few examples without getting too deep into it and trying to keep the concept relatively simple. We're going to build on it as we go through these videos. But just know, for now, that the first scale degree in a C major scale is C. We call that a tonic. The second scale degree is a D. We call that the supertonic. The third scale degree is an E. We call that the median. The fourth scale degree is an F. We call that a subdominant. The fifth scale degree is a G. We call that a dominant. The sixth scale degree is an A. We call that a submedian. And the seventh scale degree is a B, and we call that a leading tone. This C is also a tonic. Alright, if you have any questions, feel free to get in touch with me. You can also go to musictheory.net. There's a lot of great resources there. I hope that made sense in a little bit, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.